It's not an easy thing when you think about it to have been doing a job and then go into commenting publicly on other people who are now doing that job. But it is a job to be done. Take the work that Glenn Turner, former World Cup assistant referee, does for You Are the Ref. People, I imagine, always think it's a bit peculiar for anybody to actually want to be a referee, or even worse, actually, an assistant referee. So, did you aspire to this? Did you sort of dream of becoming?
I don't think anybody I ever known, heard of, or spoken to dreams of becoming a referee, Alan. I think we all dream of becoming footballers. That's what we really want to do. And I'm no different. I've been a football supporter and a football lover all of my life, but I only became a referee very much in the late 20s. I fell into refereeing. I always wanted to be a coach. I wanted to coach kids at football. And the course I wanted to take in Sheffield wasn't due to start for a couple of months. So my pal and I, who were going to take the coaching course, said, well, we'll take the referees course whilst we're waiting.
Yeah.
Such a shortage of referees locally. You can imagine what happened. The phone began ringing. You've passed your refs exams, haven't you? And I just fell into it.
And you only did it to kill time?
Just exactly. Just did it to kill time for 2 months until I could take the coaching course. Went on to take the coaching course. Never any good at that, of course. My son was out, never any good at refereeing and run the line. But, yeah, never did anything on the coaching side other than coaching kids at football. I never took it any further.
But it came from a love of the game, from playing the game, from wanting to be a coach.
Very much. I was still playing the game. Well into my 20s, late 20s, I was playing at, not a great standard, I was playing a decent standard of football. Yeah. But no. But soon realised that was as far as I was going as a footballer.
And yet the criticism is often levelled at match officials. Never kicked a ball in their lives, all this kind of thing. Knows the laws but doesn't know the game.
No, that's not true at all. I've loved football, watched football and played football all of my life. I still play football now. That's not true. We're all football lovers at heart. And if you don't love football, you can't referee. You can't just do this as a job and divorce yourself from that job and go home and shut the door at night. We don't do that. It's so frustrating, actually, when you hear people accuse you of being that way. Not at all.
It's got to be the next best thing to actually be next to these star players.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you're thinking, why am I here? But yeah, it's fabulous, rubbing shoulders with these people who, some of whom I was idolising still. Previously as a player. Some of them were still playing when I was...
How difficult is that, though, to be impartial about heroes?
It's not difficult at all. Not difficult at all. I've been fortunate to be on the same field of play with some of my absolute footballing gods, but not at all. When the game kicks off, it's red v blue, or it's yellow v green, and all personalities are
Who were those gods?
Who were those gods? Steve McMahon. I think one of the greatest footballers ever, in my opinion. And then moving on to, if you like, the international stage, Zidane, both Ronaldos. I've been very, very lucky. It sounds like I'm picking names up here, but I've been very, very lucky to have been on fields of play with Beckham. And
so having started your career at the Badger pub in Chesterfield...
Yes, Badger Brockwell, yeah. That was my first game.
You couldn't have imagined where this was going to lead.
I can, not only can I remember the first game, Chesterfield and District Sunday League Division 12, that's because they didn't have 13 divisions. I started off at the very bottom. I can remember the first whistle. When I blew my whistle for the first time, other than start the game, I blew my whistle for the first offence. Everybody stopped and looked at me. And I thought, what do I do now? So I stuck my arm out one way, and of course half the lads all shouting and moaning at me that they were going, good decision, ref. Froze.
How did you go from, you start as a referee, you become a linesman, as I still often call it. Because it describes the job, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. How did I make the transition from one to another? When you get so far up the footballing pyramid, you have a decision to make, and if people see something in you that, as an assistant, as a lino, they think this lad could actually make it as a lino, or we'd quite like to keep him as a lino, he's shown a bit of promise, then you have a decision to make. And you can choose to go in the direction of being a lino, or you choose to try and make it as a referee. I suppose I in my bets really. You always need 2 linos, don't you? I've got twice the chance of making it.
And you made it to the World Cup.
It's good of you to say so.
And right to the top, you can't go higher than that.
No, it's fabulous. I never dreamed a daft lad from Bolsover could ever make it to some of the places I've been so happy and privileged. And that's an often overused word in refereeing, with privilege, but genuinely privileged to have been. Never thought I would make it there. Never.
And now you're using that expertise very much to our benefit, and you are the ref followers, tuning into your ref cam, running analysis of performances, seeing you on the ref show occasionally. Is this a role that comes naturally to you?
In some aspects, some respects, yes, but in others, no. Because don't forget, some of the lads who I'm offering a critique on are still my good mates. I've worked with most, not all, because there's some new faces, some new kids on the block, but most of these lads I've worked with. So it's quite difficult to critically analyse them. So that side of things doesn't come very easily to me, because they're my mates. But other aspects, of course, do. You know, often I'm looking for something perhaps in a lino that somebody who hasn't been a lino wouldn't be looking for, so it comes a little easier for me perhaps to spot those things.
As time moves on and there's more of a distance between yourself and current officials, that may become less difficult.
It may become a little less difficult, but I will always be a lino, you know. I will always be a ref, I will always be a match official, because it's in here. I did it for 20 odd years, Alan, and I can't just go, right, stop being active now. I'll always be one in there.
There seems a sensitivity within referees and refereeing, and doubtless you were aware of it when you were operating, about criticism from other officials.
Yeah. Well,
you obviously felt it yourself.
Despite the belief out there, we are human, you know, and none of us want to be criticised, do we? We all love it when people are patting us on the back and rubbing our heads and say what a great game you have. None of us like to be told, you're not done that very well, you know, or you've missed one there, or that is an absolute howler. It hurts, you know. We are human.
But it hurts more if it comes from another referee, another assistant referee.
Yes, it can do. It can do. But you know, I don't want to also play down the criticism that we receive from within the game, from the supporters, the players, and the management, because that hurts too. It hurts when you get it from colleagues. But hey, if you can't take it, get out, because everybody in football has an opinion, and a lot of that opinion is directed towards the men and the women in black. That comes with the territory, you know. You know as soon as you pull that kit on that you are going to be the one that's going to take the
stick. I think it's probably because it's a little bit new for referees to be criticised by former referees.
Perhaps.
That's been an innovation of the last maybe 4, 5, 6 years.
Although within the group, we've always criticised each other. We've always offered an opinion to
But that's
each other.
been private
within the group, exactly. The change now, of course, is that it's done openly and it's done more publicly. And that has to be a good thing for me. That has to be a good thing. Let's get things out in the open rather than dealing with matters behind closed doors. I'm sure that that's what the public want.
Well, it's the most natural thing in the sense that for many years, ex-players and managers have been commenting on current players and managers, and it's just the same, really, isn't it?
Exactly, yes, and I'm sure that hurts, you know, former players offering a critique on current players. I'm sure that hurts the current players, and they'll be saying, why are you doing that? You're one of us, aren't you? But hey, that's how it is. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
And of course you have got some expertise to pass on, and it must be fulfilling to you that you're able to do that in this way.
I hope so, and certainly I hope I never criticise for the sake of criticising. I will offer an opinion, but I always like to qualify that with how that person could have done it better, in my opinion. And I keep saying that word, don't I? It's my opinion. In my opinion, they could have done that if they'd managed to keep up with play. So,
in your opinion then, Glenn, what is the current standard of linesmanship, if you will, in the Premier League?
It's quite uncomfortable for me to say this, because I'll give you the honest answer, and it is my own honest answer, but people will say he's only saying that because he's no longer active, but I genuinely don't feel the standard is what it was. I really don't. When coming towards the end of my career, there were some top assistants on the list, you know. There was a handful of assistants to whom I'd like to think the management could have thrown any game and known that it was in a pretty safe pair of hands. I don't think that quality, and certainly that depth of quality, is there. We have on the list, in my opinion, the world's #1 assistant referee in Darren Cann. He is right up there at the top of the tree, not just within England, but internationally. Beyond Darren, we've got some good assistant referees, but I don't think we've got that depth of quality that there used to be.
And do you see that being improved? Is the leadership there? Are they getting enough relevant coaching, do you think, the assistant referees?
No. They're not either getting the coaching or getting the quality of coaching which they want or deserve.
So it's gone.